Three archers. Dark was the night but for the intermittent flashes of lightning. From time to time it rained and gusts of cool wind swept across the vast cremation ground. Jackals howled and there was also weird laughter from supernatural beings. But King Vikram did not divert a bit. He brought down the corpse from the tree top and putting it astride on his shoulder began to walk. Soon the vampire that possessed the corpse said, "O king, you are no doubt a man of great talent, but at times it becomes difficult to determine who was the most talented man in a group of gifted people. Take the example of the three archers. Let me tell you their story. That should give you some relief." The vampire went on. In a certain village lived an archer who could discharge arrows by both right and left hands at the same time and shoot down flying birds two at a time. People compared him to the legendary Arjun for his skill in archery, and in course of time he came to be called as Arjun. Arjun often wondered if there was a greater archer than himself in the world. He decided to go out on a journey in two different lands. And as he wandered, he came to a place where some sort of a festival was going on. One of the attractions of the festival was a contest in archery. There Arjun saw a stranger archer. He was blind from his birth, but he could take accurate aim at a bell when it rang. I know of men who have practiced striking a target blindfolded following sound, but I never knew that one blind right from his birth could have developed such skill. Arjun told the blind man, congratulating him. When the blind man understood that Arjun was out to see how many talented archers were there in the world, he decided to accompany him. After walking on for a few days, the two archers entered a forest that spread along the frontiers of the kingdom of Dharmapuri. Soon Arjun's eyes met with a strange sight. A handless man held a bow by the toes of his left foot and shot an arrow by the help of his mouth and yet succeeded in killing a bird that sat on a tree. When the blind man heard what Arjun saw, he too was amazed. The two archers congratulated the handless man for his feat. Then Arjun said, "Why not we three meet the king of Dharmapuri and demonstrate our skill before him? He will of course be impressed and give us a heavy reward." "How should we divide the reward?" asked the handless man. "Why, we can share the reward equally," replied Arjun. "No, the major share must be mine. No doubt mine is the most wonderful feat," claimed the handless man. A tribal woman who happened to pass by them and who overheard their talk remarked, "I see, one among you is handless, another is blind, the third man can easily decamp with the entire reward." "You mischievous woman, how dare you attribute such a motive to me?" shouted Arjun. "But she seems to be a wise woman," observed the handless man, and he asked, addressing the woman, "Can you say who among us is the greatest archer?" "I can, if you three demonstrate your skill before me," said the woman. The three agreed to it. Arjun shot two arrows simultaneously, bringing down two birds from a flying covey of birds. The blind man concentrated on the chirping of a bird on a tree and took aim and killed it. The handless man chose a hanging fruit as his target and hit it with an arrow which he discharged by the help of his foot and mouth. "Now tell us who is the greatest archer among us?" asked the handless man proudly. "Arjun is the greatest archer. The blind man comes next," replied the woman as she prepared to leave. "What nonsense do you speak? What do you understand of archery?" said the handless man. The woman turned back, her face flushing in anger. "See what I understand of archery," she said, and she borrowed a bow and an arrow from one of them. On the branch of a nearby tree sat a pair of birds. "Observe how much space is there between the two birds," she said again. Next moment she let her arrow fly. It went at lightning speed and passed through the meager space between the two birds. The birds were startled at the hissing sound, but they could not understand what really happened. The woman then left the scene. Arjun and the blind man too walked away in different directions, giving up the idea of going to the king's court. The vampire paused for a second and demanded, "Tell me, O king, why did the tribal woman judge Arjun as the best archer? And why did Arjun and the blind man suddenly give up their plan of demonstrating their skill before the king?" O king, if you know the answers but choose to keep mum, your head would roll off your neck, answered King Vikram. The tribal woman was perfectly right in judging Arjun as the best archer. Although the blind man and the handless man had achieved great skill in their particular narrow ways, when it came to archery in general, they could not have proved to be much. Arjun, through practice, could achieve their skill, but they could not have achieved Arjun's skill, one being blind and the other handless. Arjun and the blind man gave up their plan of visiting the king because they realized that they would fail to impress the king. If a tribal woman of the kingdom could be such an excellent archer, there must be others far more skilled in the art among the professionals, and some of them must be in the king's service. As soon as King Vikram finished answering, the vampire, along with the corpse, gave him the slip. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Do provide your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for listening.